Good morning. This is Caitlin, KDXX22, checking in for a longer video on my YouTube account. So, this past weekend, I implemented a new way to pick my next read, and I'm pretty chuffed about it, so I want to talk about it. First, I am doing the Unread Shelf Project for 2018, which means I'm not purchasing any books out of pocket, i.e. I personally will not be spending any of my money on books this year, unless my birthday was this past weekend as well, so my boyfriend did buy me some new books that I got to pick out. Doesn't count because he bought them. I didn't buy them. We're saving for a house, so yay! Back to the subject matter at hand. So, I got this idea from watching Stephanie Leanne Bookish do a first chapter tag, which means that she picked 4 books, read the first chapter in all 4 books, and then from that picked her next read. I love that so much that I decided that's a great way to pick TBR books, or rather my next read from my TBR stack. So, this past weekend I picked 4 books. 1 book, because a goal of mine for 2018 in my Unread Shelf Project is to finish series I've started. Was one of those. Another book was a book off of my shortlist TBR, a book that I've wanted to read for a really long time that I haven't got to yet. One of the other books was a book from my long list TBR, which is a book I've bought that I want to read, but I'm not really like, I need to read this book. And the last book was a book that was recommended to me, and it was also the only nonfiction book of the list. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, and I don't own a lot of nonfiction, so for me, that's always hit or miss. Anyway, so on Saturday evening, I read the first chapter, and that includes the prologue. So if the book has a prologue, you have to read the prologue and the first chapter of all 4 of these books. And it was such a cool experience because the book that I ended up picking was not the book that I thought that I would pick. I ended up picking the nonfiction book, which is crazy, but it made me cry, so there's that. So going forward, what I'll do is I will keep the 3 books that I already started are going to stay there, and I'll pick a new book. So whichever book that I replaced, I'll pull from that area. Or I'll probably just pull from my long list since there's hundreds of books that haven't been read. Literally every book I own is an unread book. Outside of my Stephen King collection, but there's that. So anyway, the plan is that as I read the first chapter of the first 4 books, the next time, the 3 books that I kept, I will read the next chapter into the second chapter. And then hopefully by powers of deduction, I will end up reading the first 4 books that I picked in time, unless another book beats it out. Now, one of the books that I started on Saturday was not my thing. Contemporary. So, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it 4 weeks. If in 4 weeks, 4 chapters, I have decided to not pick that book, and I've picked other books in front of it, I'm going to unhaul it. I'm going to say goodbye. Maybe 5 weeks. I haven't decided yet. But 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to get rid of it. Because at the 4th or 5th chapter, if I haven't decided that I'm interested in the characters, I'm interested in what happens, or I'm interested in the plot, storyline, etc., it's not for me. Gotta get rid of it. And I'm actually pumped about this decision because usually I will power through a book. If I start it, I'm going to be like, go, 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 until I finish it. But if I'm 4 chapters in and I've picked another book to read completely in front of it, then clearly it's not for me, and I'm not gonna like it. So, I haven't decided whether or not I will Goodreads acknowledge that I'm not finishing the book or what. We'll see. And this will also help me with series, so if that book happens to be a series in a book that I have the next book afterwards, and I decide to unhaul it, then I have to unhaul the whole series. So, clearing up some space, but my boyfriend and I would like to buy a house, so less things to have to move. So yeah, like I said, really excited about that. I highly, highly recommend if you're one of those people like me who will just usually go and pick a book and like once I start it, I'm like in it to win it. But sometimes that doesn't work out for me. Sometimes I end up with a shit book that I'm reading for like ever. So if it ends up being like that, like Cold Mountain ended up actually being pretty good, but it took me, God, forever to read. So yeah. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope that your year brings lots of books read, lots of characters met, lots of good times between the pages. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!